Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chop, chop, it says I'm gonna win big. Choose not a life of imitation. Distant closer to the reservation. Default the pistol that you pay for. This pump the feeling that you stay for. In time, I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the West End. Knocked out before you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go write your message on the pavement. Burn so bad, I wonder what the wave meant. White heat is screaming in the jungle. Complete the motion if you stumble. Go ask the dust for any answers. Come back strong with 50 million answers. The world I love, the tears I drop to be part of the wave. Can't stop, ever wonder if it's all for you. The world I love, the trains I hop to be part of the wave. Can't stop, come and tell me when it's time to. Sweetheart is bleeding in the snow cone. So smart, she's leading me to ozone. Music, the great communicator. Used two sticks to make it in the nature. I'll get you into penetration. The gender of a generation. The birth of every other nation. Look your way to go to meditation. This chapter's gonna be a close one. Smoke rings, I know you're gonna blow one. All on a spaceship persevering. Use my hands for everything but steering. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. Mob tops are happy when they feed you. J butterflies in the treetop. Words that blow the meaning in the bebop. World I love, the tears I drop to be part of the wave. Can't stop, ever wonder if it's all for you. The world I love, the trains I hop to be part of the wave. Can't stop, come and tell me when it's time to. Wait a minute, I'm passing out, win or lose, just like you. Far more shocking than anything I ever knew. How about you? 10 more reasons why I need somebody new, just like you. Far more shocking than anything I ever knew. Right on cue. Can't stop, addicted to the shindig. Chop, chop, it says I'm gonna win big. Choose not a life of imitation. Distant person to the reservation. Default the pistol that you pay for. Just pump the feeling that you stay for. In time, I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the West End. Knocked out before you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go write your message on the pavement. Burn so bright, I wonder what the wave meant. Kickstart the golden generate hub. Sweet talk, but don't intimidate hub. Can't stop the gods from engineering. Feel no need for any interfering. Your image in the dictionary. This life is more than ordinary. Can I get two, maybe even three of these? Coming from a space to teach you of the Pleiades. Can't stop the spirits when they need you. This life is more than just a read through.
All right, that was the first song of the show. It's from Red Hot Chili Peppers, Can't Stop. I put the link in the chat over there for you guys to enjoy. Before we start, I'll play one more song. I think this one might be a bit more fitting. Give me a sec, just right. Ah, perfect.
Who's hanging young hero beside your head and spirit? That soul is saying something profound, so let them hear it. Give up the safe and sound, for bet it's all on breaking ground. This vacant town was a mistake and you can turn around. Your heroes and your idols turned out insincere and human. Reality's a dog that fears too high to keep on moving. But you ain't interested in losing, are ya? I thought not. Still too invested in improving as that fire you got. You came out to the city, it wasn't what you dreamed. Gave it 150, was harder than it seemed. You said goodbye to home and people who supported you. To chase something invisible, you lived for that distorted view. Your sorry superficial buddies like to shun and doubt you. Tonight's the party, everybody's having fun without you. Forget some players like us, put in the effort. They just scared of folks to focus cause they can't predict our weather. Renee's still back on the rebound. Know that if you wanna be a dominant star, you better step up. Next rough patch, cue the rewound mode. The care the walking on and I my soul. The road to freedom can't be seen by downcast eyes. So raise your gaze until you're 10 feet tall and shake your fist at the sky. Refuse to die or let them make you small. Cause they love just to see you convince you're just a brick in the wall. So kind of cheat ni oyo ba nakatako met. I chose the free life over money, job stability net. Hen kashite sekai yu made I know ko. Kimi wa dare no shujin that's so shinai know. Cause I know, I said so, don't make it right. So no yarikata dame, temaji kikitakunai. Talk all night about your troubles, all it's gonna do is pause you. Shaberu dake nara sorry man, I kawarazu. Kotoba yori ga shigasa, not the most typical jigasa. Rikai fusoku ari wakemono koto da. Remind myself to zone on what's ahead of me. Mara toji komerareteru fukuro no nezumi. Fushime ga chi ni sono michi mienai zo. You see the deeper meaning only once you've seen the light cell. Kono jonetsu nakunaru mai ni mainichi to buy speech singing beside a mice for I wanna so be. Renee's still back on the rebound. Know that if you wanna be a dominant star, you better step up. Next rough patch, cue the rewound mode. The care the walking on and I my soul. The road to freedom can't be seen by downcast eyes. So raise your gaze until you're 10 feet tall and shake your fist at the sky. Refuse to die or let them make you small. Cause they love just to see you convinced you're just a brick in the wall. Renee's still back on the rebound. Know that I starになりたいなら努力必要。最悪の引きたら悪くそうだけど諦めない my soul. The road to freedom can't be seen by downcast eyes. So raise your gaze up till you're 10 feet tall and shake your fist at the sky. Refuse to die or let them make you small. On my motion on night, this one will live for tomorrow. Renee's still back on the rebound. Know that if you wanna be a dominant star, you better step up. Next rough patch, cue the rewound mode. The care the walking on and I my soul. The road to freedom can't be seen by downcast eyes. So raise your gaze up till you're 10 feet tall and shake your fist at the sky. Refuse to die or let them make you small. Cause they love just to see you convinced you're just a brick in the wall. But you're not just a brick in the wall. La da 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 da. La da 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 da. But you're not just a brick in the wall. La da 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 da.
All right, there we go. So that was You're an Ace Kid. I forget the name already from the band, but the link is already there. I like their music. They're really good. So hello there, everyone. Welcome back to the show. So you may be asking, Kaz, what's with this yet another sudden stream of yours? Well, as it turned out, I was working on some videos, and I realized that the idea of making the Q&A section thing a video was a bit much. Been a very busy man lately. So I figured that I'll do it in the best way I can. Figured I would always be able to do content, which is streaming. It's more of my thing, as you guys have become hyper aware of throughout the years. So, before we start, I'd like to thank you all for joining. Hello there, Iris, Cyber, Bubo, Fox Azure, Dargan, Irish Warrior, plenty of people, Mask, Tailfin, and Dan, Cedric, bunch of people. Apologies if I'm not getting to all of you immediately. Peetza, Cowboy Ferret, Merchant Resident Evil 4. I absolutely adored that song. Absolutely, someone said in the chat, I love the sharing of music tastes before the shit show starts. Absolutely, that's the reason why I never skip on the music. Never. I don't care if I don't make money off of YouTube because of it. I'm still going to be sharing my music tastes because I feel like that makes the streams a little bit special before the blood sports start. Let's see. So, this is how we're gonna do it. I will accept some questions in the live chat, but we do already have a list of questions from the Discord server and, of course, a community post. At least a few of them. A good amount of the questions, however, are very similar to each other, so when it comes down to it, you will probably notice, what's the word I'm looking for? Apologies, chat. You'll probably notice, you'll probably notice that what I'm going through here is that I might just end up telling you more of a elongated, massive story, depending on the question. So, we're going through some of the basic ones before we end up going on a giant fucking story about my personal stuff, a little bit of it, and the show and where it's going in the future. So we'll go through some of the questions from Poon Bean from Community Post 11 days ago. What's your favorite moment this year? That would be Cassandra Mill. I don't know about you, but watching Cassandra Mill lose her shit on stream was fucking hilarious. I'll never forget the fact that someone unironically said in a angry Aussie voice, just spazzing out like Jonathan Ross on crack, going, "It's a fucking gecko! It's a fucking gecko!" Oh, that shit makes me laugh. Like I can't help it. It's great. Oh my fuck! It's a fucking gecko, chat. It's a fucking gecko. Yes, that was definitely my favorite moment. Let's see. Let's see. There's two questions in one here. Okay. The meaning behind your name and are you okay with fan art from Mr. A? Okay, so we'll get back to the meaning of my name in a moment because there's other questions just like it, and I would rather bunch them up. So, we'll skip that for a second. But I will say, are you okay with fan art? Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm okay with fan art. I really do not give a shit if people make fan art of my character, even if it's probably not the stuff I'm going to be proud of seeing. I really don't care because, and we'll get into it later. I know a lot of, like, furries have an issue with this because they see their character as their persona, and so, like, they find that to be personal. Personally, I don't give a shit. Like, go nuts on the fan art. I'm good with that. If you kind of noticed, I do use some of the fan art the community has made, members of the Fox Mafia has made, for the channel, and, you know, just for funs. Some of that art is currently in use right now, on Twitter, on my YouTube, on, I don't know Twitch yet. I haven't updated my Twitch. But, there you go. So if you want to do fan art, go ahead. I don't care what it is. Do what you want with that and knock yourself out, dude. Let's see. Despite not, from Frisky Doodle, despite not identifying as a furry, why choose a fox mascot icon? That's a good question. So, I guess we're gonna go on a bit of a story here. Admittedly, when I started out on YouTube, I had, like, the most basic bitch Google stuff that I can find for art. Of course, I never took credit. I never stole anyone's stuff like that. No, it's nothing like that. I was using throwaway stuff. Like, initially, this account was a throwaway account. So it wasn't like I intended to make money or do any of these things, for clout or attention, when I first started. A lot of the art that people made officially for my character were friends of mine who were artists who made this stuff out of their own whim and basically what they thought I looked like. In a strange way, you can say that the reason why my character designs look highly inconsistent, as in the fox looks different, the character has different color patterns, They have different color eyes. There was a character that had a tracksuit, and now there's a character that has a trench coat and looks like a 1940s detective. I kind of like this concept because the character kind of became less of a character and more of a concept, and I kind of just kept it that way. It's why I don't call it a fursona, because it's really not. Persona implies putting a personality behind a character. I've always just used a character design, and what my artist friends gave me, and that's it. Are you okay with other people crediting you for your work? Absolutely, yeah. We are Fox Mafia? Yeah, we are Fox Mafia. What does Cas Fox say? Oof, cringe joke. Okay. More Virgie collabs, please. Oh, absolutely. If Virgie wants to collab with me on more streams or videos, I'm open for it. I thought him going after Cassandra Mill was fucking hilarious. It's one of those things, like, yeah, the furry thing, it's just whatever. Like, I had character designs before, that a relative in my family who is an actual artist made for me, which was like a character that looked like a detective, but it was like, you know, it looked like gorillas. It's kind of designed like the Gorillaz artist band interpretation of things, because they were into like making their own interpretation of their favorite like bands and stuff. And I never used it because you know, I don't want to get copyrighted. Kaz, do you enjoy Finnegan Fox? They are good YouTube wholesome content. I have no idea who that is. Anyway, let's keep going. So yeah, I like the concept of the character idea. You know, some weird Joker backstory bullshit, I suppose, but that works. Let's see. There's a lot of questions about why you choose to hunt pedos. What drove you to this? You're gay. Are you gay? This is a joke. I am gay. I am very gay. Anyway, we'll skip that for now because that's a giant story and a half. I don't want to get into immediately. What got you involved with hunting these crazy lunatics and pedos from both Irish Warrior and Cyber? Someone else pops in. How do you get your start at YouTube? Yeah, these are all very similar questions. I'll save them for a giant story in a minute. What got you into the noir detective theme on your channel? Say, Kaz, if anyone wants to write a story based on your character, would you be okay with it? From Dan. Absolutely. Go ahead, dude. I don't give a shit. Go wild with that stuff. If people want to write stories or draw art of the character or whatever, go ahead. Absolutely. What got you into the noir detective theme on your YouTube channel? Okay, so before I got involved with this crap on YouTube, I didn't really switch the channel to noir until much later with the Hunt series, because a lot of the Hunt series was inspired by a lot of noir storytelling. You know, one of the very first video I ever make on a pedophile known as Stetson Hardwick was kind of a bit of a rip on the one of the most famous lines from an intro from a noir film. I forgot the name because I'm stupid. But yeah, I've watched and got into a lot of noir before, and I felt like it was a very appropriate theme for the subjects I talk about. We'll get into just the extent of what type of subjects I mean, because admittedly, the series wasn't really about just exposing pedophiles and dogfuckers at first, but we'll get into that in a minute, I'm sure. Kaz, what do you like better, floof or fluff? I have no idea what that is. What are you talking about? What's your favorite video game of all time? Fuck, that's a hard question, because I play a lot of games. I guess I'm gonna just go with Mountain Blade Warband. I don't know why I was really obsessed with that game. Still am. Have you seen the Big Heat? That sounds... What is that? That sounds like something that should be familiar to me, but I don't know. Give me a sec. Give me a sec, chat. Oh shit! Yeah, I've seen this. Okay, yeah. I've seen Sunset Boulevard. It's my favorite. I think I've seen that too. What's your thoughts on Family Guy? I'm okay with it. Oh, it's classic noir film. Absolutely. So, Kaz, how did you meet Coyote Lovely? It kind of just happened. We'll get into that later, I'm sure. PMCs or country militaries, Kaz? I guess PMCs. I don't care for countries. The war crimes stay all the same, I guess. Whatever. We are sisters. Didn't you start with MGA, or was that entirely different? We'll get into that, because it's a giant story and a half. I don't want to get into it. What do you hope to get for Christmas? I don't know what to tell you. I usually don't expect anything from Christmas, you know? I kind of just buy my own shit. Let's see. Do you have any books? Oh, good question. Good question, actually. So right next to me, I have a few. Just to name a few. Let me go do this real quick. So I got Star Wars Thrawn right here. I'm like right next to my book cupboards right here. I got like little cupboards for bookshelves. I have books in here. I got Sun Tzu, The Art of War over here. I got The Greatest Adventures of Sherlock Holmes right next to me on my desk right now, actually. Really thick books. Got all the stories in it. Fucking huge. So yeah. Yeah, oh, I got a lot of books over here. I'm not going to go through them all because it would take forever, but I got a lot of books. That we'll get into that again because it's one of my hobbies. DVD collection. Shit, man, I don't remember when I have a DVD collection. When I was a kid, I had VHS. Like, DVD wasn't a thing for me until much later. Aragon? I think I read Aragon books. Anyway, how's life going for you in general? I would say it's been a great positive compared to the last 2 years ever since the pandemic struck. So, yeah, anyway, returning to the noir stuff. I do have a large appreciation for noir stories talking about some very dark shit at the time. You know, moral decay, flawed protagonists, that kind of stuff. I love that shit. You can see that inspiration coming down to the videos and streams being made to an extent. And also, I kind of just feel like the crass demeanor I usually have is fitting with the subject, but we'll get into that too. Las Vegas goes, how do you see you and Yote's relationship? Is it friends who are partners and kicking degenerate butts? I guess so. You know, it's just one of those things that happen. We'll get into that. Again, I apologize for pushing for, but I want to handle that with a story. So give me a minute, because we still got many questions to go, apparently. Let's see. What's your favorite video game series? Okay, there's a lot. So, Metal Gear Solid, LA Noire, more of just a game, not a series. The Mafia series. Let's see. Arma. Like, I grew up a lot of Arma. A lot of other military sims. Total War. Let's see. I'm sure there's a few more. Red Orchestra. That's really obscure, but I'm sure, like, if you ever were into mil sims, you probably heard about that. Used to be really into Gears of War. Used to be really into Halo. Halo was like my fucking start on FPS as a kid. First-person shooters. I used to be really into that. Let's see. What's your thoughts on Family Guy? Have you seen The Big Heat? Stetson, most books. Apologies if I'm being a little spastic here. What's your first video game console? That would be PlayStation 1. No, wait, actually, hold on. It would be the Nintendo Entertainment System, then the Super Nintendo, then PlayStation 1, then Xbox. PlayStation 2 as well. Nintendo 64 was another one. I'm old enough to remember when Doom, OG Doom came out. The world was never the same. But, oh, absolutely. I also played a fair amount of PC games, but I started with like some consoles first, like that. I think the game I remember starting out when I first played Nintendo was Mario, the original Mario, and the original Mega Man through 1 and 2 to start off with. It's really insane how, looking back at that now. Cass, who's your favorite actor? I wouldn't know about that, actually. I don't keep up with actors. I would say the guy who... why did I forget his name? I would say the guy who voice acted as Spike from Cowboy Bebop was pretty cool. He's in a lot of things, so whatever. Excuse me. So game series. So you got Total War, that Metal Gear Solid. There's a lot of games. I apologize if I'm not going through them, but there's a ton. What are your plans for the hunt in the coming years from Crete? Honestly, that's a really good question. I have no idea. When I first started this whole thing, I never thought I would be in this position to go anywhere with the channel. In fact, for the first 2 years, I kind of had to struggle tooth and nail just to, get anywhere with it. I wasn't planning to do it, and it wasn't like I was making content with the expectation of making an audience. We'll get into that later, because there's a shit ton of lore about the channel if you ever ask the right people who've known me for like 4 to 5 years at this point. So, there's a lot of lore. But needless to say, I've been greatly appreciating where the channel has been going. I hope that in the future, that all the work that went into it really blossoms into something much bigger. It kind of already has. A lot of the stuff about what this channel has done, said, and made, and the community that came with it is not something I've ever expected to happen. What's your thoughts on Kakibara from Plague Doctor? Are they the most animal of all time or no? I guess they are, yeah. Sanity says, how exactly do you get started with what you do on, we'll skip that for later. What stream do you remember where you were the most angry? And there's another one where you're most creeped out. Okay, so I think the best way to explain this, I think the Andrew K stream was probably the most creeped out and frustrated I've been in a while. I mean, that sounds weird because you've seen me get angry at a bunch of people over some dumb shit. Admittedly, the issue wasn't like when I got angry at most people, it's usually dumb stuff like people interrupting the call or whatever, just stupid shit like that. But like what really got me genuinely frustrated for a hot minute, just for a tiny smidge, was just listening to Andrew K unironically say the shit that like reveal the stuff he was doing or what he was into, being a kind of still a kid by Canadian law and all the things he was doing and saying, and it's just that sort of admittance to being a monster that it's just so rare to find, because most of these people are cowards. They're not going to tell you what they're into half the time unless they want to fuck with you, And usually the issue I find with these people is that they're usually cowards. But to see someone like that brazen is a special kind of monster that I just haven't been able to truly rectify in my mind just yet. I'm sure I'll get there. I'm kind of just desensitized and not fazed by as much as I used to be by by exposing these people. But even then, sometimes some of these people just kind of they just make you surprised about how depraved. They make you surprised as to the depravity of human nature. Let's put it like that. Sorry, I'm fumbling my words here. Blech. What is your favorite PS2 game? Mine was Resident Evil 4 and Breakout. Resident Evil 4 was a pretty good game. I remember playing Killzone. A lot of Killzone. Someone said in the chat, can I get a Hoya? Hoya! Have fun with that. What's your favorite YouTubers and who inspired you to make videos? We'll get into that in a minute. Again, it's part of the story of the channel. I apologize. Do you smoke gay weed? Says the darkened hellhound. No idea. Favorite cryptid from Nymph. Okay, or Narmth. How you pronounce that? Sorry. How do I explain this? I don't know much about cryptids. I'm not really into that stuff too much. I will say that the cryptids that I find to be very interesting are the types that are usually very intelligent and use that to their advantage. I don't know about you. I don't know about you, but something about a monster being highly intelligent and knowing just how to basically fuck with you is infinitely more horrifying than a monster who just kills you because they have the physical strength or bullshit like power hacks to do it, you know what I mean? Out of everyone you interviewed, who made you feel the most frustrated? I think I already went through that one. It was, I think Andrew K was the answer. From Swell Lizard, how have you considered doing more gaming content, gaming streams on your YouTube channel? Well, I do have options for that. It's called my Twitch account. So if you're into, you know, Twitch or just gaming content in general, down the link below in description is my literal Twitch account. You can go follow that whenever I'm not being dumb and I'm actually being able to play games on stream. Whatever's wrong with my hardware, I'll fix that. But go ahead, do that. Enjoy that. Yeah, that's a shameless plug aside. Shameless plug aside. When Andrew sent the pic of him banging his dog, I don't remember. Oh, I've heard he tried doing that. Yeah. Andrew Velasco, I believe, is the one you're talking about. Let's see. What was the most entertaining freak you ever interviewed? I think that would either be between Cassandra Mill or Stetson Hardwick. Those are fun. Project Zomboid again when that might come out soon. Who knows? Feel free to keep of my Twitch to know more for more. Let's see. Have you ever said creeped out? I already did that one. What genre of metal do you love? I don't have a specific form of metal I loved. So how it works is when I was a kid, I was probably into bands like, you know, Slipknot, a little bit of Slipknot, a little bit of Disturbed, a little bit of I guess Avenged Sevenfold. I don't remember them that much. Most of the bands I'm into is like I will like pick and choose one or two songs I really like from that band and from their albums, and that's like really about it for me. So take that for what you will, I suppose. Yeah, not a satisfying answer, I bet, but that's just how the cookie crumbles for me. Or was it Aran Agamoth, or is it Anon Armoth? Live for the Kill is pretty base though. I know I'm butchering that name. I apologize. But it's just how it is. No metal like hair metal. What's your favorite animated movie? I don't remember much about animated movies. Apologies. Let's see. Still going. Where did the name Kaz Warfox came from? Okay, so part of what I was doing when I was doing this stuff was how do I explain this? Because when I use the word Kaz Warfox on my YouTube channel, or a previous name before then, I was the type of person who it was a throwaway account, really. That's what happened with this. Like, I never thought the word Kaz Warfox was going to be a name that would stick for my you know, professional career on YouTube. That sounds fucking cringe saying that. when I was doing this YouTube thing, like, the Kaz Warfox name was kind of, inspired by, a few things I played in games I played and some anime I watched when I was a bit younger-ish. So Kaz, is a name inspired by a few characters. You have, the Red Comet character, you know who he is. Char Aznable from Gundam is one inspiration for the word Kaz, if you remember his full real name outside of his identity in the show. Casshern was another series I came across from anime, including Casshern Sins, but that's holy shit. That's a story for another time because that was depressing. And then you have Kaz from Metal Gear Solid because I like Kaz as a character. I don't know about you, but I always thought he was a pretty cool character to an extent. So those are the three main inspirations I remember personally. As I've said, when I first started this whole thing, I didn't expect it to go anywhere. I expected the name Kaz Warfox to be a throwaway name. It wasn't something I put a lot of thought into, admittedly. But here we are. I still managed to go a little bit somewhere with my channel, and we're here. So that's fun. What is your personal political beliefs? Kind of what you call political beliefs. I kind of consider myself independent at this point. I guess there was a time where I can kind of consider myself a bit on the libertarian side of things at one point, but then after a certain drama with the anarchist community about a certain pedophile, nah, I'm good. I don't care about politics anymore. But I don't really care for personal political beliefs, so long as you're not a spurg about it. I genuinely don't care. You know, starting off as a throwaway count, absolutely, yeah. Never thought my channel would go anywhere. Someone draw Kaz Warfox firing a fucking rifle. Kaz really sounded like Carl Weezer there. Oh, you gotta understand something, Jimmy. It's either the red pill or the blue pill. You better learn it. You're either a giga chat or a beta cuck. Let's see. Sex with your mom and sex with your dad. Oh, no, but no, seriously, Jimmy, your mom's cheating with me. Cheating on your dad with me. Yes, I'm on Argmoth. That is the band I just referenced. They're pretty based in my opinion. Man, because you gotta understand, your mom's insane, Jimmy. When she pulled out the vacuum cleaner and said, "I'll use this to drain you," I knew that I was not. I knew it. Fuck. I knew it was. Oh, fuck, I broke it. I knew I was not dealing with any ordinary housewife, Jimmy. Your mom is fucking cray-cray. Oh my god. Oh. 2023 is coming, Kaz. It's coming hard, absolutely. Jimmy's gonna have a little sibling. Oh, Jesus. Jimmy, what are you doing? Why did you sign up your mom to talk to Chris Hansen? What the fuck is wrong with you? I'll lose my bitch. I was pumping that whore out for the fucking... for the pennies on the dollar. What's wrong with you, Jimmy? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop. I've already did that when I was playing Warzone with some pals. I've made them hate me for a good week. It's great. Oh fuck. Okay. Let's get back on topic. I apologize. Where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years from Scribed Wizard? That's a good question. I have no fucking clue. Again, when I started the Hunt series, it turned out vastly different than what it ended up being. And on top of that, like, if I'm gonna be honest with you, dude, I have no idea. Like, I never thought my channel would go anywhere because, okay, I want to put you in this perspective. So I've been doing this shit for 3 years. 2 years I was struggling as fuck just to be able to grow an audience by calling out these online degenerates. And there was a lot of reasons for that. Again, we'll get into it when I tell a real, genuine story about it. So, what I end up remembering is that thanks to some people helping me out and showing off the fact that I exist, this year went from barely scraping by to 400 in 2 years to over 1,000 and halfway there to like 2,000 subscribers in the span of like a full ass year, which is pretty good for a channel that's starting out as basically a primary streaming channel and very little videos on top of that. So I'm very happy to know that the channel finally has gotten somewhere to an extent. It wasn't what I was expecting to go anywhere, if I'm going to be honest with you. The Hunt series was never meant to be as focused as it was on the channel. I was wanting to do other things because I had no idea if what I was going to do was worth the expenditure or was really what I wanted to do. Because you have to remember, this shit's depressing. On top of depressing, you get yourself into a lot of risk. Again, we'll get into a giant story about the antics in that later. That was the funniest shit I remember from the Warzone incident. YouTube algorithm said no. Absolutely no. Susan does not like the Fox. Susan really does not like me. So that's why, if you guys want to support my content, just feel free to like, subscribe, and share around the content. Feel free to do so. I'm sure it'll be worth your time. And whatnot, you know? So feel free to join in on that affair. It's gonna be fun. Proud of you, man. I've watched you grow so strong. Hell yeah. Let's keep going. Fuck, where was it? Where was I? I apologize. I am scattershot today. Jesus Christ. What do you think about video game channels like the Ackman or Griffin Gaming from Jester? Honestly, I do not watch their content. I would have no idea. How gay are you from 1 to 12? I am 42. Favorite Pokemon? Vulpix. Let's go with that. Let's go with Vulpix. How gay are you for Yo? Rate 1 to 100. I don't want to say anything about that, you know. Committed partners, all that. What content creator on YouTube you used to love but now despise? Oh, this is a good one. This is a good one. Okay, so, when I was a kid, wanting to start a YouTube channel, or at least kid-ish, I guess, when I wanted to do YouTube, I grew up in an era where a lot of content I was into was stuff specific to, reviews. I play a lot of video games, especially a lot more when I was younger. It's kind of almost like an outright addiction. And I wanted to do game reviews because I was inspired by people like Angry Joe. I'm sure there's a few other names. And maybe some other media, because I used to watch a lot of Nostalgia Critic and The Video Game Nerd and all that fucking sane shit as a kid. I grew up with that shit. When I first started the channel, that was what I was going to talk about. And for some other reason, what fell upon this channel was completely different years after, if I'm going to be honest. Well, again, we'll get into that more, but yeah, I used to want to just talk about games. Let's see. So, from Cedric, what was the main lead up to the ZPD being formed, or otherwise known as the Zoophile Police? So, I got involved on the pedo hunting largely through Twitter when it was a big deal. I was part of a thing called the Zoophile Police. It was one of those big accounts at the time where people would be hunting pedophiles and giving out reports and trying to take out all the shit off of Twitter. Because, like, essentially illegal content, it has been and still is being shared ad nauseum on Twitter. It's a huge problem. Only recently it's being acknowledged by some people in positions of power about how bad the CP problem is. So, it was, I was like the second batch of administrators. I was not the first. So there was a huge batch of the first administrators, or moderators for the ZPD. I came in as a second wave. It was basically just at that point, because there was a drama going on over with the ZPD. And I came in as kind of like, just, you know, as a second hire for a second wave of moderators that took over that stuff. So, because of some drama that happened, I was never a part of course. I was never a part of that drama, so it's whatever. So the people in there was me, this other person I won't name, another person who was probably shouldn't have been on the account in the first place, and Ruza. Says, what's your thoughts on Ruza? I'm chill with them. I got no problem with Ruza. I remember having a few conversations with them about some of the pedo exposing and some of the funny antics, and I got no personal I don't have any real beef with them. I don't. During the ZPD era, how bad did the situation you were involved in got? Okay, that's a good question as well. So eventually the count had to kind of disband because it wasn't really anything the mods did per se. It was mostly due to the fact that at a certain point the community around the ZPD was kind of cannibalizing itself over a lot of pointless internet drama. Yes, I have heard of Vita. And so what happened was things got so fucked that there wasn't even any investigation work being done because people were too busy, like, eating each other over the smallest infringement of disagreements or hashing out or memes or something. For an example, the whole anti-community concept was something a lot of people joined in to call out online predators and weirdos. It got co-opted to a point where all people talk about was politics and people talking about virtue signaling nonsense and getting mad at each other over the use of slurs and mean words and all this other crap. And it all just kind of collapsed on itself. You know, there was no investigation work at a certain point being done. It was just people going at each other's throats. The mods were fine for the most part. It was just watching the community destroy itself. And it got so bad that we said, you know what? We're just going to shut it down and go our separate ways. That's what I did. I'm probably one of the few people still keeping up with this content in the first place from that sector. So, probably explains how stubborn I am. I am. Oh, the joys of working with people that only care about cloud over actually doing good. Pretty much, yeah. You know, like, again, like the mods were doing the best they could. The mods of that account were doing the best they could. It's just you can't work in an environment where people are just in it for clout. You know what I mean? It just collapses upon itself. I have a question from Mort. Knowing how dark your job can be and the topics you deal with, do you take mental health breaks? Oh, absolutely. If you probably hang around enough, you probably know that I kind of use my Discord server as an opportunity to, like, just talk about other shit. I had some I wouldn't say weirdos. I had some people come in getting a little bit weirded out about how I got all these, like, different gaming subjects and different forums for, like, conversations and stuff. And the reason I did that was I just wanted to hang out in a server, a community of my own, where if I'm not talking about pedophiles or dogfuckers, we just get to hang out and play video games and shit. So if you're into that, then the server is for you. If you can handle a bit of the edgy humor, that's completely fine. If you can't, then I don't recommend joining. Nothing against anyone for that. Taste thing. But yeah, I do take some mental health breaks on occasion. There was a point where I wasn't on YouTube for like 6 months in the last 3 years I've done this content because things got so fucking insane. I kind of pulled a fatherless trick. I just left for I left for some milk, and I didn't come back until like 6 months later with a litany of new problems. So that's fun. It's Doc, by the way. Thank you for the question, Doc. I can't believe it was because I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm sorry. There's some other person's question. I don't understand what that's about. Is mayonnaise an instrument? No, it's not an instrument. Get a real instrument. What's this? How did you get into this scene initially? We'll get into that. What was the worst cases you've ever dealt with? Alright, so I'm not going to get into this, but I will say that the worst possible cases I've ever handled are stuff that I've never talked about or posted about on the YouTube channel. I have seen some genuine shit. I'm keeping that vague. I'm not getting into that. But I can't talk about that. It's pretty bad. Something about what these freaks will do to a toddler is disgusting, and yeah. You'll be surprised how much stuff I talk about, or I look into, is stuff I don't really talk about much, or I don't make content on. You'll be surprised how much of this pedo hunting I do, which I barely call it that nowadays. I would rather just be called a normal fucking person, because let's be real, a pedo hunter should be seen as a normal fucking person for this. There's a lot of stuff I can't talk about. You guys talk about, oh, Kaz, you talk about some dark shit, and I agree with you, I do. But there's stuff that I will never be able to talk about on this show that are 1,000 times worse than the people I've ever laughed at, that I've ever talked about. Like, this channel, despite my intentions to expose the worst of the worst, can only examine the tip of the iceberg. It's really bad. I'll just keep it that way. These people are fucking gross and disgusting. And yes, my opinion is pretty carte blanche on this. You know what you do with pedophiles? We throw them in the fucking firing squad. Fuck them. Oh, alright, I'm not getting into that. Fuck. Coke or Pepsi? Trick question. Redco Mountain Dew. What happened to the $2 trillion the CIA in this place the day before 9/11? It's in Peetza's hole. Let's just say that. Death to the MPLA, absolutely. Your favorite holiday? Basically anything that's cold as fuck because I like winter. What made you get into pedo hunting? We'll get in that later. Where's my drink? My diet DR kelp. Man, get yourself some fucking Nuka-Cola Quantum. Really tasty. I heard it's great. Have you seen Bravo's Butthole Gold Tea? If so, what color did he dye it? Yeah, I don't know anything about that. You mentioned you played guitar. What type of music do you play, and which guitarist do you cite as your biggest influences? Fuck, man, that's an old question. That's a good question, but man, that's really old. Like, I haven't kept... I don't have a specific name I could remember, but I really liked some of Korn's stuff. I liked the guitarist. Was the guitarist for like Avenged Sevenfold before he died? I think that was one of them. Guns N' Roses. You know, that type of stuff. Takes a while for me to remember. I do apologize. It's a while. What are some of your favorite video game soundtracks? Well, that's an easy question, actually. If you've checked every intro I've ever done with my show with the music I let out, I think you know my favorite type of music. There's this really obscure anime game made as a mod from Half-Life 2. It was called I think it was Half-Life 2. It was probably Half-Life 2. It was called Neo Tokyo. It was basically like someone who was really inspired by Ghost in a Shell and made a really complicated but really fun FPS war sim shooter that was set in a very similar universe of Ghost in the Shell. And I've actually played some of the songs on here before. Phenomenal music. Absolutely. There's some god tier stuff. God tier stuff. What kind of tech do you use? Drop all your nerdy interests. I'll go with operating systems, I guess, or kernels. I mostly use I do use a lot of Linux, and so a lot of the Linux is Kali Linux or Parrot OS is my personal favorite. I just like the Parrot OS design. What was the annoying pedo to hunt? I think I ever talked about that. Would you ever wear a fursuit? I don't know. If I end up in a furry convention, I guess I'll have a full Kevlar suit with a let's just say a paintball in P5. I'm joking. Do you ever play High on Life? I do not know if about that. What was your worst live stream experience? Ooh. God, that's a hard one. Moving on, because I actually don't remember what could be the worst. Do you see yourself ever hanging out out IRL with any of us from Peetza? Assuming I can get my financial shit together, yeah, I probably would. Like, I'm not against the idea of like meeting up with fans or friends of the show, or what do you call friends, whatever that means on the internet, and like hanging out and going for beers and shit. That's cool. I would do that. I would absolutely do that. I just don't do it because it's kind of expensive right now to do that. So if I could probably do that, is like if money's not an issue, I fucking would do that. Hell yeah. Let's see, Irish work. If you could, do you have any hobbies other than dealing with spurgs and pedos? What would that be and why? Also, what was the most aggravating stressful for you when a hunt started for your hunt? Good question. Okay, so let me go through a list of like hobbies that some may like have changed as a concept or may ever since pandemic, but so let's go here. Let's see. My hobbies consist of hiking, camping for like long camping. Like I used to do a lot of hiking and camping a lot. Especially in like climates to force myself to actually learn shit. Let's see. Camping, hiking, some working out. I do a lot of walks. I read books. I program. I don't do a lot of program. As much as I should at the moment. It's kind of one of those things. I do have an interest in cybersecurity. I've been doing that for years. On and off. I used to do a lot of archery. Just stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff. It's just hard to remember it all. Oh, martial arts, another one. I did a lot of judo. That is and still is technically one of my hobbies. Is a lot of martial arts stuff. I used to do a lot of judo. A ton of it actually. Plague says, God, there was so much drama, so much ZPD drama. I know, right? Like, man, that shit was insane. How can you be so calm against pedo and spurg situations? I'm going to assume that how am I calm? How am I so calm during like dealing with these people? Again, we'll get into that. We can get into that. How do you feel about YouTube getting worse by the years? I think it's a huge loss for YouTube to be obsessed with censoring people. Mostly because of the fact that YouTube has a thing for censoring people and killing creative talent, and that's sad. That's sad. I think ever since Filthy Frank kind of just walked away was like the death knell for creative content. In my personal opinion. Oh, if you were able to make spurgs touch grass, where would you send them? Yeah, that's a good question. I have no idea. If you could be a fly on the wall for any historical event, which would be that? I don't know, man. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm kind of like very late millennial at this point, as in like I came into the world late in that generation. Like at that point, I have seen so many world events just by existing and seeing the stuff I did, like 9/11 and shit, that I think I'm good. I think I've been a fly on the wall my entire life, if that was the case. Let's see. Why do you pale? Okay. Gamings or Battleborn? Gray mains or Battleborn? No idea what that is. Apple pie or lemon pie? Hot dogs. Do you cook for camping? But for me, I cook curry rice. I did a lot of cooking with camping. I was basically the resident cook in any like fucking group of people I hanged out with at the time. I was the one carrying like almost well over 100 pounds of cooking equipment. And I did this while hiking up mountains and shit, by the way. That's fun. I kind of don't regret some of I kind of do and don't regret some of that. It was painful. So a lot of hobbies. I don't talk about my hobbies too much because I just do stuff. It's not a personal thing on YouTube. Let's see. Softball question: have you ever thought about making your characters Persona black and white to match the style of your show, or keeping the colors of Normal Fox? That usually depends on the artist I'm talking to, honestly. For the most part, the gray color this character has on screen is what you're gonna get. Could there be characters with some color in it? Sure, probably. More than likely, I'm sure. I'm still working with talking to artists and people. As I've said earlier, I don't know when this channel is going to go anywhere or if it's truly going to go anywhere. I think it is now. But so here's what I'm having planned. There's a lot of things I am now having planned with the channel. I am talking to artists. I am talking to other people. I have been talking about what type of resources I can spend into not only a change of the look of the channel to make it more like, the way I want it to look, but also just with artists, but also just a completely different format and how I'm doing it. I'm not going to say what that is, but chances are you're probably not going to see those types of changes coming in within 2023. It's probably going to be well into the future to make these changes, and that's because I'm not comfortable saying too much as of yet as to like how successful or anywhere this channel could be. So that's just, it is what it is. Drop some of the music so I can focus on this specific comment. Give me a minute, guys. Roasted your heaters. I think we got through most of the questions. There is a few questions that I do want to answer, but they're all the same kind of question-ish type of deal. So, have you ever been, yeah, I've been in scouting, so it's not something I talk about much, but I've done a lot of that too. Are you going to challenge James Robert Clark III to a martial arts fight if you're judo expert? I will not say I'm not an expert, but that would be funny. What is the one thing you regret doing your 3 years of doing this? Honestly, I have no idea. I don't exactly hate my job as a content creator, but I can't exactly say that I don't have my days of just kind of wishing I did something else sometimes. But that's a mental thing. Whatever, I don't care. For the most part, I enjoy going after these people, and laughing at them, and sending what I can and just doing whatever I can to be a general nuisance to them, and in essence, give information to the right people and just be done with it, the proper way. Persona 5 Royale or Yakuza. The Yakuza is based game series. I like my games to sometimes be a chaotic shitpost. It kind of fits my personality, I suppose. Okay, so I think that's really about it. It's safe from a few particular questions I wanted to answer for you guys. But instead of answering it through one long speech, I'm gonna answer it through a fucking story. I've already mentioned a few pieces here and there, but I figured I can end it by doing that. So, and afterwards, we'll probably if people are willing, we can have them on show to talk about the channel. And whatnot. If you want to join the waiting room, that's up to you. It's not required. I don't really care. But that's an option after I'm done with my elongated backstory. Whatever. I will say, though, like, don't expect to be too in detailed because, honestly, I prefer to keep a lot of my privacy. So, whatever. Anyway. So let's have a bit of a story. So sit back, everyone. Get your snacks. I would probably recommend you get a little puke bucket. So when I was a kid, I've traveled a lot. I ended up in a multitude of different countries, including those that are not tolerant of specific groups of people. And what I mean by specific groups, I usually mean basically like women and children, and the concept of rights is not existent in them. I've mentioned this in some of my streams, especially one about Do, where I kind of screamed at him about him, her, it. Sorry, it's whatever. I forget. And I've seen some shit. I've seen a lot of shit as a kid. It's why I do not feel like belong to a particular group of people. In fact, there's a lot of people who come at me and say, "Oh, Kaz, you need to do better on these streams to be a part of the commentary community." And I'm saying, I'm not a commentary channel. Like, I don't care for community. I care about the one I've built for myself because that's just how I function. I don't give a fuck about these communities. I'm gonna be honest with you. Their standards are a bit terminally online for me, a little too terminally online for me to care. But I've seen some shit. When I went back home to the good old USA, it wasn't much better. I lived somewhere in a certain state you probably already know about because I've mentioned it, and you can probably guess from the timestamp of the show that where it's coming, where I'm like general state I'm from. Dealing with pedophiles is not an uncommon problem. In fact, many of the schools I've been through as a kid were the same schools that had a vicious history of child pornography rings or human trafficking allegations. When I was a kid, when I grew up, everyone in my class, everyone in my school year, everyone I've ever known through school as a kid, we used to be making jokes about who's next to be molested by a pedophile. Now, mind you, I want you to understand this. These kids are not making this joke to be nefarious or evil or twisted. They're making this joke because it became such a common reality that we were joking about it because it was the only way to cope. I will never forget the many conversations I had with a friend of mine from many years ago, and that we would just be joking about what's going to happen to us at some point. One of them made a joke because they had an abusive mother, and so, her mom would engage with her in a conversation about, she's kind of a piece of shit. And so the joke was something about, well, at least if I have a condom on, my rapist can not get me pregnant and just go on his day, right? And it was like, holy shit. But this was like a common problem. There's been many instances of people getting murdered over nothing, killings happening, bodies ending up in weird places, just all kinds of shit. When I grew up, it was not a fun ride. The reason I have such a dark sense of humor is because one of the most common things we would be concerned about is wondering about whether or not, like, things were going to happen to us as children or family or whatever. There was just such cartoonishly evil shit going on behind the scenes. So when it comes down to exposing predators, it happens all the time where I'm at. It's, you know, there's a reason why the pedo hunting scene's a huge fucking scene. I'm sorry to say it, but like the truth is, the truth is the truth. The world has a huge pedo problem, and no one wants to talk about it. No one ever wants to talk about it. You know, you couldn't do anything but joke about it because you have no idea when it's going to happen, and the adults just didn't care. They knew the problem happened. They just didn't give a fuck. You know, they were just a typical, some at least a good amount of them. I wasn't middle class at all. But a lot of these people who didn't care were a lot of like really upper middle class white America who quite frankly never seen a hard day in their life, because they're not the working class. They're not the average folk. They're not the average worker. They're not the average anything. Who think, "Oh, that's not going to happen to my kid." And then inevitably, you give it some time, they would be proven wrong. Every single time. It was grueling, to say the least, to grow up as a kid for that reason, because you could not trust a single person. Hell, I was basically taught not to trust a single goddamn soul before I even went back to America, because when I was in places like Saudi Arabia, it was far worse. Oh God. It was pretty awful. It's an issue that has never been resolved. And so when I was a kid, I had my moments of calling this stuff out and in some way and form being viciously silenced for it because nobody wanted to deal with it. When I started this channel, I didn't want to talk about pedophiles at all. I did not want to talk about dogfuckers. I was just a shitposter who wanted to make memes and jokes and play video games and make content about video games. And I did not want to talk about this because I had no idea what the fuck to do. That was how fucked up everything was. I was basically living a life where I knew all these problems existed and I couldn't do a single fucking thing about it because the cops didn't give a shit. In fact, one of the cases involving a school, one of them was in on it. It was pretty fucking awful. So I just wanted to play video games. I wanted to talk about video games when I was starting out YouTube. But for some reason, no matter what happened, I get dragged into shit. So for those who didn't know, I used to talk to a lot of different types of YouTubers, some of them with a decent audience that you probably heard about at some point. I've had streams with a great many of content creators and people before I kind of just I just deleted all the streams and moved on because I no longer felt any need for that history to be remembered after all the stuff I've been through. When I got involved in internet communities, I was always the guy singled out to be the one that does everyone's dirty work. You'll be surprised how much your favorite content creators more than likely knows how bad this whole thing is and just do not care. There's probably a good chance they enlisted people like me to do the dirty work so they don't have to talk about it. They can sit there and be all pretty and grift money and play video games and just ignore it all. It's all a bunch of fucking bullshit. So when I started on YouTube, every once in a while, I'd just be minding my own business. I was with a small group of troll friends of sorts. You know, we like to make fun of lolcows and stuff, and we didn't want to be taken seriously in that sense. I pissed off a certain House of Mouse motherfucker and some Hatcherby Sanders fucking weirdo before she died of things outside of our control, like a car accident or something. A friend of mine came to me, told me, "Hey, Kaz, I found some really fucked up shit report this? Would you go out of your way? Because I can't deal with this crap. You're the only person in our group that has the ability to handle this shit. So please help me out here. I have no idea what to do. So I contact the authorities. I did my job. Sometimes I digged into people, and I found what I could and sent it to the cops every fucking time. This has become a common pattern of behavior through every community I was ever a part of. Whether it might be some of the early years of the political culture war, where I was making fun of everybody, to internet blood sports, to whatever this is. I was always the guy enlisted to do other people's dirty work, because, and as they've told me 1,000 times, I was the only one with the emotional control to handle this shit. I was the only one that could sit there, see it for what it is, do my job, and not turn things into a nasty shit show. And that's the reason why you'll be surprised how calm I am. I'm used to dark, twisted subject matter, and it's not because I was some weirdo kid. No, I'm just used to it. I've seen shit you wouldn't believe. And it's the reason why I am so in tune with things like really some gallows humor. It's just how it is. It's why I'm never going to censor myself, because I can't. It's not my good conscience to. I've seen it all. And that's why I became what I am. When I made the Hunt series, it was more of a documentary series that, yes, it would cover pedophiles. It would cover some absolutely monstrous people, but that wasn't like the full intent. It was just a sort of documentary series on just all kinds of stuff, and a spin to talk about dark shit no one really talks about. But then, once I got involved making the series and started talking about certain weirdos, like Stetson and a few others, I was informed, regrettably, that this problem was much worse and much bigger than I thought. So here we are. I never wanted to make a series that went like this, initially. I had no idea whether or not I could handle this shit. I just did it anyway because apparently I was the only one who could in a multitude of communities and sectors. And I'm going to be honest, it is what it is. I just kind of embraced it for what it was and moved on with it and kept making content on this. If I had a chance, would I probably not be making pedo hunting content? Probably. Would that really change what I am as a person, and would that prevent me from ever actually trying the content to call it out? No. I kind of just realized I'm a creature of conflict. I just do it. It's part of what I do. I call things out all the time, evil, good, whatever. Especially evil. I like trolling. It's kind of a thing of me. I like being a shitposter. I like being an asshole. Partly being an asshole. At the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't know what to tell you, chat. I've done everything I can to avoid this subject when I was younger, 21-ish. Now I'm here. I have no idea what to do. I just kept up with this content because it's the most I feel I could do. Is there any chance I could move on to something else in the future if I feel that I'm truly well and done over? Probably. Is that going to stop me even on the days I'll retire? Nah, people like me don't retire. That's something I've learned very, very quickly. A lot of people in the predator sphere quit very quickly. I don't blame them. But as I've realized throughout the years, I'm a stubborn motherfucker, and I'm not the type to quit. I probably never will. Admittedly, this content has brought a lot of interesting people to the table. I get to know people more than I ever thought I would be able to. I get to hang out with interesting personalities, and I feel like the pedo hunting has also been.
Sorry, you did?
I've been talking. What are you talking about? What's going on, Vash? Vash? Oh shit! Hold on. Am I still muted? Hello, Vash.
Hello. I was just wondering if you were dead or not.
No, I'm still talking on stream.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
It's no problem, dude. It's whatever. How do I explain this? Okay, so kind of losing my train of thought here. Oh well. Essentially, what I'm trying to say here, folks, is I just kind of ended up in this position. I didn't exactly choose the whole pedo hunting thing, you know. It just kind of happened at a certain point, and at a certain point, I just stopped trying to rebel against the concept of doing it because I seem to be one of the few that actually tries. Most of this pedo hunting shit, if I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of people out there just doing it for clout and are just doing clearly fake shit. It's pretty obvious. There's a lot of people do this for attention. I don't want to be that type of content creator. I would rather just be honest about the fact that I want to talk about the real stuff, even if it makes me an enemy to YouTube or corporations or anything. I don't really care anymore. Like, I know that the content I talk about puts a huge target on my back. I'm fully aware
Well, I
of
mean,
that.
to be fair, we've already pissed off YouTube a couple times.
Absolutely, yeah. Like, I get a lot of people like, do you know that if you engage in this content, that you are by extension putting a target on your back? I'm fully aware. I don't care.
Well, I mean, the reason why I choose to do it is it boils down to the question: who else is going to?
Absolutely, that's where I'm getting at. Yeah. I've spent my life knowing this thing exists and trying not to deal with it when I was a kid because I had no idea what the fuck to do. Then as an adult and being repeatedly thrown into situations where other people I used to talk to like threw me into the wolves because they can't handle it themselves. I kind of just get to a point where, yeah, honestly, you know, I guess I can actually deal with this content with a level of tact. Funny, I know. I said the word tact. Ha ha ha. Bloodsport content creator-ish person talked about tact. But you get it is what it is. It's true. At a certain point, it's like, I never thought I would be here. I never thought I would be making this content. I don't know how to feel about it, because I don't exactly hate it or entirely regret it either. I kind of feel that what I'm doing, or at least I think honestly, that what I'm doing is still the right thing, no matter how many people get mad at me, because at the end of the day, these fuckers deserve to burn. Too many people let them get away with shit all the time. All the fucking time. It happens on a daily basis. These people never get the justice. Like, the victims never get the justice they deserve without people willing to kick some teeth in sometimes. And yes, that's a metaphor, not a real literal threat. You can get mad at me through my methods.
A lot of people think that they just go like, "Oh, for these sexually abused people, just go to therapy." Therapy. I'm gonna take off a little bit of the veil on therapy. Most of these people that are victims of these types of acts, they go there to help the other person feel like they're helping. It doesn't really help them.
Yeah. Let's see. Grifter shit does not surprise me. I would not want to do pedo hunting for cloud either. I'd rather be honest too, even if meaning making enemies out of corporations. It's just it is what it is. I feel like the part of the positive of pedo hunting is that you get to recontextualize what you're doing with your life and then understand like a lot of this internet shit really doesn't matter. Like all this like, oh, did you hear what this drama tuber said about another drama tuber? Yeah, I don't care. They can suck my dick. Like, why do I need to hear about some terminally online speds who make a career out of some really dumb bullshit? I don't care what they think. Who gives a shit? There's real shit to worry about in the world. You gotta learn to not take yourself seriously. I feel like that. I feel like the constant reaffirmation of understanding and understanding this reality helps me to really think about and be more grounded with the worldview. I know a lot of people go, "Oh, but pedo hunting is insane and fucks with your head." Oh, absolutely, yes. But when you really put any thought into it and stop being a nihilistic little Nancy and realize what you're doing with your life, you end up realizing you want to take care of yourself better, you want to eat better, you want to work out better, more, you want to do stuff with your life. You end up realizing that this whole pedo hunting thing actually starts to make you question about what you're doing with yourself. And not only that, also about human nature. Because I'll tell you that you cannot work with this content without realizing that everyone is a potential snake. Like that is just how it is. I feel like despite how cruel it sounds, it actually comes across like you can improve a little bit if you want, but that's whatever. Either way,
Well, I mean, it's much in the same thing that I've said like at least 3 or 4 times on previous live streams. That fables teach us that monsters are real and there are ways to kill them.
yeah,
And a lot of people don't really look at this. They just look at surface levels of fairy tales instead of actually looking at the, you know, like the legitimate deal of, oh, that dragon was actually, some big money mogul or something.
yeah,
Like you can take a lot of the fairy tales and the evil creatures. They're human. They're around. Like, and you got to know how to kill them. You got to know the type of monster that you're dealing with in order to take it down.
yeah. I just want to say, guys, put it like this: it's the reason why I am the way I am. And that's probably never going to change, really. I mean, let's be honest. I don't get I'm not here to play this game of oh, we need to like sacrifice people's values and, hide who you are so you can make some money on social media. I'm not No, I'm good. I don't care if YouTube comes after me. I don't care who comes after me. I'm not censoring myself. Fuck that. I am so tired of this conversation this last past month about how like we need to censor people's speech. It always comes from a caggle of people that's clearly got a lot of skeletons to hide too. I have no idea why people don't see that. It's so obvious.
There were so many of them that tried to get you to censor me.
Yeah, good luck with that. Welcome, Fox Azure. Feel free to express your opinion.
Hey, do you read me?
You sound really robotic for some reason.
Oh, shoot, this is happening again. I'm going to have to be back in a moment. Sorry about that. I'll be right back.
It's no problem, Fox. Technical difficulties and all that. But yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at. I'm just some dude on the internet. I don't find anything I do important. I mean, unlike a lot of people, I don't delude myself into thinking I'm an advocate of anything or that I'm fighting against anything outside of human nature. I don't believe in making this about politics, which is another frustrating aspect of this sphere, is people who want to make this into political bullshit. Admittedly, it's kind of really fucking annoying. Because it defeats the purpose of the fact we're all supposed to be united in one common goal, and that is to fuck with these people, these pedospergs. Um, you know, I wish we lived in a world of smarter people to realize this, but as we are right now, that's probably never going to make. Um,
Yeah, yeah. There's been a couple of times where that's happened, where I'm like, dude, I'm not making it political, and god damn it, let me just fucking. That gets frustrating.
well, I mean, a lot of people do that. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Like, I had to explain to someone, oh, you don't work in soup kitchens. Like, oh, dude, I voluntarily did thousands of hours of community service.
Going to
Voluntarily.
do that.
I did a lot of this stuff when I was a kid too. I spent a lot of my time helping out the community. I do not talk about this often because it's not supposed to be made for clout. It's not supposed to make you be like, "Oh, I'm this virtuous person." Well, no,
I
fucking hate that
uh,
mindset.
I personally agree, Cass, that really, if you're doing community work and stuff like that, it shouldn't be bragged about or it should be like that. It should be, very, very simply put, you shouldn't brag about doing community work. And you know what? I really agree with that because it's kind of the
Well,
same
I
with how.
mean,
Oh, sorry.
yeah. Go ahead, City. Go
No,
ahead.
I was about to say I feel the same way about how those people on Twitter that are talking about how, oh, I'm a recovering zoophile, or oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Really, if they're bragging about it openly on Twitter and such, are they even recovering?
Honestly, I wouldn't know. Also, welcome Fox Azure and Peetza, Cedric. Feel free to express your opinion. Let's go with Fox first because he was trying and his mic was fucking up.
Yeah, let's see if
There we
can
go.
you read me now? Okay,
Loud and
great,
clear.
great.
Holy shit.
um, you've come a long way, Kaz. I've watched a generous portion of your journey. Well, on YouTube, your journey on YouTube.
Mhm.
Proud of you, dude. Proud of you. You know, it seems like it wasn't even that long ago, only a few hundred subscribers, and I was only hearing about you in whispers, and yeah, like you said earlier, now you're pushing 1,500.
Yep.
You know, like rooting for you. Um,
I
and
remember I remember making fun of this dude because he didn't have more subscribers than I did. And now you have like what, 5 times the amount of subscribers?
Vash,
Fucking awesome, dude.
don't I have more subscribers than you?
I've got like almost 400.
Oh, okay. Well, never mind. I'm almost there.
Well, to kind of, is it alright if I add on from that, Fox? Is that alright?
Yeah, sure.
To kind of have to add on, I do have very similar feelings with Fox. I will say one thing about watching your YouTube channel grow. I kind of joined later because I did not know, or I didn't really come in until like March, or like I think it was like February or March of 2022 with your Discord. And not only that, way before that, it was I knew you were or I knew you kind of got on the radar, or on my radar, because of what do you call him, Coyote Lovely, because at the time I was kind of looking into Coyote's content and I joined the Discord server and all that. And then over time, I'm starting to notice like people from that community started to kind of not blend in, but more or less kind of slowly trickle away into yours. And I was just wondering, hey, this seems interesting. Maybe I'll give it a crack.
Yeah, I would say if I remember right, Coyote was kind of the reason I got to be a part of specific Twitter accounts and in this the entire thing in the first place. And I had to get to know him through I think well over a year before he started actively supporting my content on the YouTubes. And so I thank him for that. I think it was fun to have him sort of like be like the first to stick around and kind of just hang out and not make a big deal about that. And he just kind of he did it out of what he considered to be the kindness of his own because he respected me. He wanted to because of the Andrew Case stuff. I think that's what really cemented the help because he was like, dude, this is kind of fucked. A friend of the channel, a friend of mine is getting censored off the internet because of a pedophile wanting to cover up their crimes, and that's kind of where it went. Um,
Right.
it was an insane ride. I went from breaking 500 subscribers within like the first month of this year to like over 1,500
Yeah,
in the same year.
tripling that.
Yeah, I'm actually kind
You
of surprised about
tripled
that.
in a year, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
So I'll say this to you guys, the audience. I do not expect this channel to still go anywhere. I am kind of that type of person where I assume the worst, hope for the best, but generally assume the worst. So a lot of the changes and plans I have like no idea if they'll ever be completed. But if this channel really does start popping off, then I can guarantee you that I will definitely be putting a lot more effort into every facet of the channel. In genuine,
and
like, yeah. Sorry,
we
go ahead.
do appreciate you guys. We really do.
Oh yeah, especially the art, the
Like,
fan art. The fan art has been amazing.
Oh,
oh fuck yeah, fan art's awesome. But not only that, like, there's been times where, you know, I'll feel down about the shit that we're doing because, you know, I'm not a part of the tech, you know, area. Like, I have to do the psychology and reading people and being able to fucking look into that shit. And honestly, it sometimes makes me feel like, you know, I'm not really that strong of a role in it. And then, you know, I look at how much support that not only Cass gets, but, you know, I get in the chat as well. And it actually, it really, that energy, it comes to us and we're able to make a fucking spirit bomb with it. So thank you guys.
Uh,
Seriously.
absolutely.
So, Cass, before I head out, I just wanted to give you one last thing.
Yeah, what's up, dude?
Just giving you a heads up. There's a special gift coming soon. Expect it on Christmas Day.
Oh, okay. Sure.
All right. Well, thank you very much for having me on, and sayonara.
Have a good one, Cedric.
Well, I guess you just got a Fox Azure SETI Fox Azure sandwich kind of deal because I bowed to him halfway through what I was saying, but I got two more things, and I'm gonna bounce out myself. One thing actually on what Vash was saying earlier, monsters are real, and they can be defeated. Now I know I'm not hunter material. Part of the reason I know this is because earlier this year, some folks in the chat may or may not know about this, but I was able to, with a lot of help from some amazing people such as yourself, Kaz, I was able to take down a couple of ERP servers on Discord that had miners in them. And what I didn't realize at the time was that I was just slaying a level 5 blue dragon whelp, you know. Sorry about the cringy metaphor. It works with what Vash was saying. But it gave me the courage to confront an old groomer that I dealt with a long time ago, let's just say. And it didn't quite go as well as I'd wanted it to. But I had that eye-opener where I realized that not every perp is just a stupid sicko. You know, there's some diabolical motherfuckers out there. So I took out a level 5 dragon whelp and then decided I could take on a level 20 vampire lord, and let's just say it was a mistake. So if anyone wants to go into this shit, be very careful.
Oh, absolutely.
And
I agree
the
with
last
that.
thing I had was a question for you, Kaz, because I asked it in your server and I asked it in the YouTube chat and you didn't answer me or acknowledge it. So if you don't want to answer it, just kick me from the VC. Whose mugshot looks better? Ethan Ralph's, Chris Chan's, or mine?
Okay, let me look at this. I think yours because it just looks like you totally regret being there.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I am 3 sheets to the wind drunk in that picture.
I'd see. I love you got Ethan Ralph's curly fries.
Yeah, he
I'm
almost
gonna
looks like he's smiling. Almost. Like,
Jesus.
I'm gonna say yours because it kind of looked like you were like, I'm a pretty man.
man, no, not that unkempt, disheveled looking Dave Grohl look-alike motherfucker.
Like you wake up that day and you're like, I'm a pretty man. Fuck yeah. And then you're in prison that day and you're like, I'm a pretty man.
Fuck you. Well, I just love how no matter what you do, your mugshot never looks flattering.
Absolutely.
All right, peaceful sunset.
See you later, Fox.
Yeah.
So what do you think, Peetza?
My question, I don't know if you've already answered this or not. I had to go to the gas station to get some things, but why do you choose to store your bottles of rum in my butt?
Because it's nice and cozy in there.
Fair enough.
I like that fucking pause.
I mean, he can fit. Let's see here. You can. All right. Science tells us that we can fit roughly a large raccoon in there, so you can fit maybe like a 6-pack.
Jesus Christ.
And yeah, that's all he needs for storage.
It's like a storage locker. Yep.
It's weird how you can pop the cork though before taking it out. That part's weird. Pizza.
What's your favorite type of soda? All right, hold on. So Silverfang asked a question. What's your favorite type of soda? Redco Mountain Dew with Cool Ranch Doritos. There you go.
Cool Ranch is pretty bombing.
Yeps. If I can get away with it, it would probably be like some form of Baja Blast too, but that's hard to get where I'm at outside of Taco Bell. He's ready for the winner. Absolutely. So let me put this in perspective for you. Obviously, a lot of the changes and plans I have for the channel going into 2023 is it's going to be a lot of work. I do have videos planned. Yes, I'm taking a while. I am a perfectionist when it comes to videos. It's kind of a problem of mine, I will admit. Taking care of that.
Did you just say perfectionist?
Perfectionist, but if I said that, then clip that because that's funny. I love it.
Perfectionist.
I am an expert. Oh god. That sounds like something fucking that carpet furry would say. Oh god. Now we're going with the fur X stuff. So
He's the fur exorcist.
I am a perfectionist. In nature. I take the whole video thing a little too seriously and making sure I don't fuck up. It's weird. I know. It's a tangent I have. I do have some things hopefully coming out before the end of December. And at the end of the day, we'll see where we'll go with that because I wanted to basically get some stuff done before the end of this year so that I can freshen up, the next year to be other things I have in mind to deal with. But if that doesn't end up being the case, unfortunately, it doesn't matter per se. It's just something I want to do. If this channel goes anywhere, truly, it would be great because it would mean that a lot of the plans that I have in mind will come to fruition quicker. But I'm not expecting anything. I still don't expect anything. I will be honest, when I did YouTube before I really did this whole pedo hunting thing, I was just some dude who was bored. I just shitpost. I just troll random internet spurgs, and somehow I seem to have a good skill at getting under their skin, apparently. Even though I've never put a lick of effort into it. So take that for what you will, I guess. Have fun with that.
I still miss the days of the Scooby saga.
Oh god, that was just
Oh my
Uh,
god, like we were both actively going against Scooby, but just in our own little bits of the internet. This is like before our internet neighborhoods kind of merged on top of each other.
yeah, I kind of noticed that. It's fucking weird how that works.
Well, I mean, I'm all right with that. Like,
It says, well, thank you
that
for your
is-
time, Kaz. I'm going to bed now. Well, feel free. Have a good one. Somebody call me mad. So, um, there's another thing I like to kind of semi address, which is the funny thing is like,
what's
oh, are you need to work for standards of community. So going forward, I'm making that very clear. My community deal is my own type of shit. We're not here to follow standards of anyone else, and we're not going to, and that's not going to be something we will capitulate on in anytime soon. And the reason for that being is that well, I'm not a commentary channel. I'm sorry. I know I'm hooked up. I'm stuck on that. But I'm not that. So if you're expecting me to be bargain bin commentary clout
we're not gonna
sniffers,
do that.
yeah, we're not gonna do that.
You can take that idea and shove it up your ass. Because sorry, we don't do that.
You hear that, Sepho? You still a bitch.
Yep.
Hey, Sappho, can you tell me how metallic barrel feels? What does
Well,
it
I
taste
mean,
like?
I was thinking that they were so dumb that they thought that they could comically actually suck it out
I'm,
and
I'm,
never thought about pulling the trigger.
I'm just saying, does it taste like dirty pennies?
It probably does.
that's
Probably does.
that's a question for Sappho to answer. I'm sure she's watching at some point. Um, yeah. Anyway, do you want to make a website? I have no idea about that. Like, if this ever pops off, I probably would need a website or something. But
Yeah.
that's
The,
well into the future at this point. I have no idea if
I
I'll be
will
doing this.
continuously harass Cass until he gets a website. Should that actually happen?
Oh, dude, you've been harassing me for years to get a Patreon. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, I continuously like what did it take? Like almost 2 years for you to finally break and get a Patreon?
Yep.
Like, yeah, it started and then it went into the ultimatum, and then you were like, if I get 1,000 subs, I guess I'll do the Patreon thing. And then you got to 1,000 subs, and you're like, yeah, still. I was like, and you're like, all right. It was
Um.
great.
Well, for anyone who's concerned about backups, I'm on Rumble, Odyssey, and a multitude of other places. Links in the description down below, so to prove it. I do have options in case things go wrong. I have my backups. We're good there. As for
Be
like,
sure to subscribe to all of those. The best way to actually get most of his stuff is to be on his Twitter or just be in Discord, really. Like
yeah,
those
absolutely,
are the two better places.
yeah, absolutely. But either way, I'm kind of glad that despite all the insanity that came over, that this went from this went from just some dude doing this by myself to a giant fucking community on Discord and adjacent ones working with me to go after degenerates and stuff and all the insanity that comes with it. And I really appreciate that fact. I think that's the most I'll take away with this crap is that really if there is something to behold, um, sorry, excuse me, if there's something to behold and and respect the most and just fucking enjoy is the fact that yeah, I'm a small YouTuber, but man, do we have quite the community going for us. I love that, especially the art aspect of that. That's like holy shit.
Yeah, like we have a fucking awesome community, and there are people that I may not agree with, like I know in a lot of different aspects, but fuck, I still respect them, and they still respect me, and that's one thing that I really do love about this community.
Yeah, there's it's at least not as nearly as insane as a lot of have been like turned into.
It's not backbitey. It's not fucking people trying to backstab people. It's actually just people that are hanging out. Like
Yep.
there's some of them that it's like, I like, let's say that I don't agree with them politically. They're left, I'm right. And it's like, okay, but do you want to play Fortnite? And I'm like, fuck yeah, I'll play some Fortnite. Like, it's just shit like that. It is a great community, and I'm happy to have met everybody, and all of that was, well, because of you, Cass. So thanks.
Yeah.
It's a great community for the ones who aren't bitches.
Yes.
That's a good clarification. Absolutely. Let's see. I don't know what I would do without you, Caswar Fox. I need you while I do my artwork. LOL. I would be lost without your streams. It's funny because I'm not into furry art or anything, just listening. I mean, I wouldn't say don't put that much focus into me, but I appreciate the sentiment. I'm not very good at taking compliments. You can tell.
Well, I mean, there's like, you see, like, this is one thing that I kind of mentioned to you like a couple years ago. I was like, if you just keep doing this, you're gonna get those types of people, and like, the best thing that you can do is just say thank you.
Yeah, no. I'll never forget
Like
when I'll
it's
never
hard.
I'll never forget when Irate Prostate was still alive and he was giving me a compliment and I was like being uncomfortable with that, and then he just does the most stereotypical just stare. You can tell he's staring without even showing his face. And suddenly this most southerner way possible told me to just accept the damn compliment.
Yeah, I remember that.
That was fucking
And
funny.
there are some people that didn't like that guy. Honestly, my heart goes out to Uzi Q for losing such a nice dude. And he, like, whenever I was being interviewed by him, he was really chill. Like anytime that I was talking to him in the back in the background and shit, he was an awesome dude. I wasn't ever really a part of his chat, but yeah. Rest in peace. All right.
Yeah. Also, Peetza says, "Have you ever eaten Skittles out of a butthole?" No.
You want me to guess the flavors too?
Oh no. Do you read books? I actually did answer that question already. At least a few books I have. Like there's like one right next to me. It's a really big thick one for Sherlock Holmes. You can
Yeah, I pestered you while you were reading that.
yes. Yeah, you did, and it was funny. Yeah. I freaking miss Irate. Yeah, no, I like the dude. He had a lot of drama with him, but that kind of crew you hang around with and that side of the internet, it's kind of unavoidable if I'm gonna be honest with you, So how do I explain this? I can respect the dude for what he did for me and other people with me. All this other stuff is just whatever. It's long history, so it shouldn't matter anymore. Excuse me. Anyway, I greatly appreciate your guys and your support. I hope you continue to do so. Feel free to like and subscribe. Honestly, there's gonna be a lot of planning, a lot of insanity. I don't know where this channel's going to go, if I'm gonna be honest, but I do have an idea. And it's going to be interesting, to say the least. That's all I can give you. I don't want to spoil it. Probably.
You have to stay tuned for the next episodes of Dragon Fox Z.
I kind of wanted to make the stream as more of a positive spin on the subject, because at least it's nice to just say, "Hey, this has gotten somewhere,"
Oh yeah.
At the end of the day, however, expect more stuff. I would say expect other things that aren't necessarily what I usually talk about in between as well, because I want to experiment with some funny conversations about dumb shit. It may be somewhat related, but not specifically. As a whole, it's kind of just different ideas. I don't know how else to tell you because I don't like the idea of spoiling it, so or getting too personal. But that's just me. Yes, Vash can attest to that. He would tell you how long it took for me to open up about anything about myself, even though I've known this fuckwit for like years.
About I would want to say three, maybe four.
Yeah, something like that.
And good luck to all the gay uppers out there.
Oh no, oh Jesus. Oh, sometimes, yeah. Anyway, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, random question. I was remembering a conversation we had. Gang violence. Have you ever experienced or been like near that?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah,
Is that yeah?
it wasn't like I was doing anything. I kind of just minding my own business and just saw some shit happen and moved on with my day. It happens a few times. Ever since the pandemic, there has been like lots of crime incidents. Like for example, there was like examples where I was doing my usual jogging route and it was like not even 20 minutes after I walked past my route, someone got shot at the same place I just left 20 minutes ago. Um and I fucking heard that too when I was out there. It's like weird shit like that too. It's like there's a lot of stuff going on with that. Lo- when people talk about crime, it's been going nuts. Like the world's falling apart, and I've noticed that there's a lot of criminality happening. Like there was a store that got raided where I was at, not even 5 minutes away from me. The cop station was like right next to this store, and this guy just like killed a 18-year-old girl who just got hired that month for a job there. Um, some dude called the cops, tried to hide. The fucking gunman stays there for like 5 or more minutes and just leaves, and the cops never caught him.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, like when I talk about police being incompetent, I genuinely mean it. Like it's retarded. That's all I can say. Um, it's nuts. It says had a group of teenage gangbangers pull up next to me, pointing a shotgun at me. Fun times. Oof, yeah, that's tough. I can feel that.
Yeah, that's never fun. And this is the reason why I suggest to everyone, make sure to get yourself a fucking pistol. There's a reason why their freedom of having a gun is a thing, and it's very important.
Well, I mean, I owned a couple of pistols at one point, but I decided to sell them because my ass, I don't trust myself because I sleepwalk, and God knows what the fuck I'd do with those if I got a hold of them
Oof,
while sleepwalking.
I can feel that.
Fair point. Very fair point. Very valid.
Yeah, either way, this is I guess you can say the reason why I'm so calm around the subject most of the time, say from noticeable examples for specific reasons are I'm just kind of used to dark subject matter. I've seen some shit, I've been through some shit. I still deal with shit in my life. It doesn't a lot of stuff. That's just how it is. Um at the end of the day, it's just something I'm used to. And so I just deal with it in the best way I can. Do I have a really relapse and still get fucking annoyed or probably worse at a creep? Oh, absolutely. They love to push like it's going to save them. Um Just how it is. Did you watch MASH as a kid? Yes, I did, actually. I remember watching that shit, yeah.
MASH was great.
There was a song from it. Suicide is painless. It brings on many changes. And I can take or leave it as I please. I remember that song from it. Yeah. Yeah, the many years in the army has left me far into the edge to carry a farm anyway. Yeah, anymore. I can feel that. At the end of the day, it's just it is what it is. I don't know if it's a background thing or maybe it's just genetic for me to be used to stress, but in general, yeah, I'm kind of just used to that type of thing. Um, Probably doesn't help in real life. I'm probably just very cold, and I'm just kind of that person that just does stuff and probably try to talk to me for whatever reason. I'll probably just stare at you and just be like, "What the fuck do you want? What the fuck do you want?" That is the type of person I generally am. Like, it's not like aggressive or anything. I'm just looking at you, fucking bewildered. Like, as like, why do you give a shit? Just staring at you.
I'm scrolling up, looking around at to see if there's any other some more questions that might be. I don't know.
I think I've gone through all of them. Every
I just remembered a good one.
oh, what's up?
Coyote Lovely, Lab Rat, and Lagovert. Marry one, fuck one, kill one.
I'm not getting into that. Nope, I'm good.
Damn it.
What is one thing you regret during your 3 years of doing this?
Honestly, I can't really say I do outside of maybe wishing I could do more, but that's just an expectation type of deal. Well, it's not necessarily, yeah. Well, it's whatever.
Okay, and another one that's a little bit more lighthearted. Are you an Eagle Scout or been in scouting?
Yeah, I was in scouting.
Cool.
I actually did a lot with that, really, and kind of went up the ranks on that pretty quickly, and just kind of stopped giving a shit at a certain point. I just got bored. Again, this is a common problem, people. You do not want me bored. Sorry, Dave.
Um,
Sorry, George. I was bored.
have you seen what goes on in the Whisper app?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you seen what is going on in the Whisper app? I'm
I
guessing the Whisper app has a lot of pedos on it.
probably. I mean, I'm already dealing with similar situations to look into from other places, so that's not surprising at this point.
Yeah. Hey Vash, what's your opinion on Family Guy? The old Family Guy, like whenever it was new, it was great, but now it sucks.
Oh yeah.
Um, like old Family Guy was great, but new Family Guy kind of sucks. I am looking forward to King of the Hill, like getting another rework. Let's see here. Oh, what has been the most viewed video on your channel?
I think that might be either the Cord Kitty or something else. I don't remember. I don't pay attention to that, if I'm gonna be honest with you.
It should have been Scoobert.
Yeah, it really should have been Scoobert. That shit was funny. That shit was
I have
funny.
a serious question.
Yeah, what's up?
If we happen to land Sappho behind bars, are we going to celebrate as a community? And if we are, what kind of celebrate? Like, what would we be doing, do you think?
I think we're gonna have a long talk about that one, but yeah, I definitely say celebrate. Fuck yeah. I don't have any qualms about that.
We would probably play whatever clips that we would have that would be like best of, I think.
Um honestly, it's I would like to be able to do that. Yeah, have celebrations about this shit. Cool. Why not? It's great levity.
Yeah. Let's see here. What's your favorite candy brand? Let's make this a panel question.
Uh, shit, man, it's been a while. I don't eat a lot of candy anymore.
Yeah, but like, what's one that you've had recently then?
I think my favorite I remember was I used to really be into Jawbreakers.
Oh, those are
Yeah,
good.
like there's
Let's see here. Which ones? Like the Gobstopper ones, or like?
the most I remember is I used to go to this one place, one of those historical places for frontier towns in my state because we have a big thing for that, right? So they preserve that for people to look at what being a frontier person was like, or whatever. And there was a lot of candy stores around these places, so that's how they make their money through tourism. Um, I remember they can sell you jawbreakers like the size of a fucking soccer ball.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, here's another one. What's your favorite type of car?
I wouldn't know. I use, let's just say a really old Toyota van. So it's the stuff you get, import Japan. The really not maintenance heavy. You know what I mean? It's like something you keep on the cheap. I don't buy a lot of cars. I just have a bunch of like fucking old but reliable. That's all I have is one.
Yeah, and most recent candy I guess I've had was white fudge dipped Oreos, and they are amazing. They only come out once a year. Go to Walmart and buy them. Uh, let's see here. Oh, I got there's another question that's kind of interesting.
Before you go too far, I jumped back in to answer the panel question for the candy question. I had to.
Okay.
Reese's. But
Reese's?
if I can't pick some basic bitch boring thing, Three Musketeers.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Um,
Like I like the 100 grands, to be honest. That's one of my
Never
favorite.
had. To date, I have yet to ever try a Fifth Avenue Toblerone. I've had. I haven't had a Fifth Avenue 100 grand, or up until very recently, I never had a Zero, and I finally
Oh my
tried a
god.
Zero. It was pretty good.
Okay, have you ever had a Star Crunch?
Negative. I
Okay,
used to
well,
really like Nestle Crunch when I was a kid, though. I used to be a big fan of Nestle Crunch.
like I guess I'm the sweet tooth of the group because I eat all kinds of different candy.
I guess because I see I don't normally eat candy. It's a sometimes thing for me. Not like I'm
Oh,
diabetic or anything, but I'm trying not.
uh, what was your first job, Cass?
first job. Oh, it's just some basic
Yeah.
retail shit. It's really it's just the most basic retail fucking store bullshit. Oh, where's my crumpets and shit? Fucking
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and bounce. I'll catch you later.
okay. You'll see the pizza. Let's see. What was the most outrageous moment during your hunt interviews with degenerates you talked to? I think I remember once getting DDoS off of YouTube. Um, you know, um, I remember when one of the degens tried to do a cyber attack against me to DDoS my fucking stream off the interwebs for a minute, and didn't really work out well because you can just reset everything, an IP address. Boom, prop command. It's already fixed. Or
Mhm.
VPN. So that was fun. It was like very temporary, and then we had a giant conversation about it. I think it was Stetson enlisted the help of some creep to try to like fucking fuck with my computer, which didn't really
Oh,
last
that
long.
was whenever no, I remember that shit. That was whenever like Stetson and all of them like sided with Daniel and they became like a tarred legion of doom for like like a couple weeks,
Yeah.
which was as long as they could stand each other. Like they just started fucking destroying themselves. It was just fucking great.
Well, hey guys, I just wanted to jump in to answer that panel question. I'm gonna yeet.
Okay. But fuck yeah, that was a lot of good fucking questions. I think we got them all.
Well, for the most
Oh
part,
no,
there's still make more.
there's a few new ones.
Yeah. Have you seen that creepy pedo advocate Hatman's covering? Sure, he's using. Honestly, I think I heard about that. I do try to keep my best to keep up with people. Admittedly, it's hard to do that. I'm usually very busy, so I do my streams. I'm probably not paying much attention to other people's streams or videos unless it's like very pertinent to something, or they
I
like
do like
address me to do
Catman.
it. Yeah, no problem. I heard a little bit about that. I haven't really got into it yet, but maybe that might be something in the future to consider.
Yeah, I think that like I've studied into Hatman, watched quite a plethora of his streams. Uh, hey Hatman, if you want the Fox Mafia to help, hit us up. I'm sure that there's a few of you guys that are Hatman fans. You
Yep.
know, you can clip that and send it to them.
Here's an interesting question. What is the worst main social media platform with the pedo zoo problem currently? I think that's still largely either a mix between Discord and Twitter, if I'm going to be honest with you. Um, they have always proven to continue to be worse and worse with that problem. I think Twitter is the only one with Elon to acknowledge that this problem exists. And that might be something they're working to fix. I don't know what to tell you there. I don't keep up with Elon too much, and it's hard to talk about that whole thing without people being like worshiping him or hating him. So I try to keep a level of skepticism with what I'm saying or doing around him because people can't be bothered to have a conversation right now about the dude.
What's the worst main social media platform?
Yeah.
Hmm. Um, that's a good question.
Yeah.
One of the weird things that I found, whenever I've and I did this whole deal like where I was starting to go after hashtags on Twitter, and that was rather successful. But I found that most of them went from Twitter to Tumblr. So I'm thinking Tumblr might be the worst,
Yeah.
but at the same time, I've also see potential in Whisper being one of the worst as well. But wherever they could be publicly broadcasting this type of stuff with certain acronyms and stuff, I'm not gonna say them all. Um, but certain acronyms and certain letters and shit like it's I would say all of those. Any of those that allow them to publicly fucking broadcast that shit.
Let's see. There was something in here for a minute.
Oh,
Uh,
did we miss one?
I'm looking at if you have any other hobbies other than YouTube and pedo/spurg hunts, what would that be? I've already answered that, but since I'll reiterate in the quicker format here. I do a lot of reading books. I do a lot of hiking, camping. I do a lot of archery. Uh, I do some programming, cybersecurity stuff to learn into, and a lot of stuff. I kind of at a young age had to realize really quickly to be the type to take care of myself. So I early did a lot of physical and mental activities. Um, it's that whole taking care of your body and mind type of deal. Especially when the pandemic happened, that actually became a lot more important than ever. But yeah, I have quite an extensive list of hobbies. I kind of felt like that was just part of what I did. And also partly just boredom. I will admit, a lot of my factors and everything I do can be boiled down to, one week I was bored, and then shit happened, and then now I'm here running a series I never thought would go anywhere. uh, what's your first pedo you exposed on our channel? Okay, so this has to have a lot of context with this one. I inadvertently got involved in a drama relating to a guy named MDA. Or I Must Destroy All, a ranting channel at the time, back when those channels had an audience.
This was back whenever Angry Grandpa was a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is some old shit. But one time this guy MDA was a well-respected member in his community. He was always closed off, very suspicious to trust anyone, and no one really questioned why up until he got called out by his victim, who was someone who wasn't of age, who was being sexually harassed by him for BDSM pics. And it turned this whole drama into a massive shit show, and I covered the story by having a bunch of his former friends talk about their history with MDA and asking questions. And admittedly, back then, I had a really shitty headset and microphone. You can barely hear anything right with a lot of effort. You can I was using a throwaway fucking picture I found on Google and stuff and blah blah blah, and I had a vastly different name that was incredibly generic and not as nearly as interesting as Kaz Warfox before I changed it, which still was just a throwaway account when I did anyway, and I wasn't intending to go anywhere with it, even with that name change. But yeah, I had to say the least, it was kind of what got me in the door for the YouTube stuff later on. Now, admittedly, I didn't make pedo hunting a big thing by that time. It just kind of happened. I did it. I didn't want to touch it again, and years later, here I am yet again making a lot of content on people like that I've exposed. So there you go. I've tried everything possible not to talk about this stuff. Then I end up forced to talking about it because I respected the people that were friends with him and gave them a platform to speak their mind on this. And then
I tried to get out, but they kept pulling me back in.
yes, it is what it is. Chat. It is what it is. What's
Here's a question that I want to have.
Yeah.
Would you ever interview people like Vic Mignogna?
Oh, Vic Mignogna, probably. There's an option for that.
And what would your stance on what happened to him be?
I'll definitely make it as an opinion piece of what happens when accusations go wrong, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's just whatever it is. Yeah. Apologies. I'm kind of getting late again, but yeah. So, it's a common thing. Like, honestly, I think the Hunt series would have not been a thing if it wasn't for all the people in my circles at the time pushing me to do something about the pedo stuff, because literally nobody was willing to do that. It was just this thing of, like, you're the only troll we know that can actually handle things with tact, so we're gonna make you do this. and then move on from it. And there you go. You'd be surprised how many of your favorite content creators knows how fucked up things are around here and just don't care. That's how it is. They would rather just spend their days, making money, making views off of relatively meaningless content, which they know for sure that's the case, and they don't care. They'll send people to do it for them. That's just how it is. When I talk about how you picture social media as like a coastal city, and there's a dark underbelly beneath all of these platforms, I wasn't joking. I ended up turning out to be more right than I would have ever known when I first started, and here we are. I would say, and take this quote as far as you want. YouTube is just Hollywood 2.0 with none of the benefits, but all of the corruption and nasty kid touching and dog touching that comes with it. So, yeah, have fun with that knowledge. Anyway, it's almost 2 hours and 30 minutes, and I kind of should have ended this 20 minutes ago, if I'm going to be
No, I
honest.
mean, you pretty much got all of the questions, so. Oh, top 3 Christmas chill movies. Okay, I mean, 'tis the season. Let's see here. There was one with Seth Rogen in it that wasn't shit, and I can't remember it. I don't know. What do you think?
Honestly, I don't know. Anyway, guys, regardless, I hope you guys enjoy this content. Feel free to like, subscribe, and share it around. There's obviously a lot more coming down the pipeline. I'm just incredibly busy, so keep that in mind. You will see stuff coming out soon. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I preferred this to be a stream at this point because I was going to be like, I'm going to make a video, and realize, nah, actually, I think the stream was the better option here. I like interacting with people about questions, so there you go. I hope you guys have a good one. See you later. We're gonna play one song for the end here. One song indeed. Let's look around real quick. I think you're gonna like this one. It's a bit fitting for the subject matter.